The first time I did the video, I was a little more than upset because the simple thing was that my father got a 3-day notice that his rent was going up, and it was mainly because of the subsidies. Now, it's been a month since that last video, and I found out a lot of things. I did get a phone call within a couple of days, and they explained how the numbers went, because really I was totally ignorant to how the numbers went. They're basically, if I'm understanding this correctly, it costs $2,800 to share a room at a home. And $1,000 of that is usually subsidized for most residents. Now, that's $1,000. I was in shock that it was that high. You guys have really stepped up. That's a lot of money. But then you look at the other side, like at the high cost, or how much does care cost? They're getting $5,600 for one room for two people, and a lot of times these people are just level one. They can do everything themselves. A lot of times they pitch in, they'll help with the activities, they'll bring stuff. They can be pretty much self-sufficient. They're not entirely dependent on staff, just maybe for the washing, for the meals. They don't want them in the kitchen. So with that, now my dad has gone to level 2. He needs more help, everything else. So he does get extra subsidy, which only equals $150 for level 2. That's a lot of strain on the resources for the home when you start getting more level 2. It is a lot, and I was there yesterday. I can't mouth off on the quality of care that goes on there, and the dedication to the staff. They really do treat them like a family. So with that said, now I know the numbers. I know that you have a little over 4,000 in these homes, and they're being subsidized, and only 10% are not. And that's probably demographics in the real world, because people that have money, there might only be 5 to 10% that would do it. Whatever reason, they're the ones that buy the Cadillac, have the cash. They're really just good with money, or they own businesses, or etc. The other 90% are just working people in that era. And in that era, they only usually had one person that worked. The other one stayed home and looked after the kids. And they didn't have daycare back then. It was rare, daycare. I think daycare would have been frowned upon in the 60s and 70s. I only know a handful of mothers that worked when I was growing up. So now they're in the year 2024. They're getting in the 70s and 80s, and their money's not carrying them as far as they should. So you have to subsidize. But the big thing is that none of them know the extent that they're subsidized. Nobody in there knew. I didn't know. And that there should be a legal contract signed that says, you know what, if the Newfoundland government pulls out of this, or doesn't keep up with index of inflation and pulls out the subsidy, that you are responsible. In my dad's case, they've taken $300 off, so he's still responsible, for a lot of money. And I know next year it's going to drop. And the simple reason is this: because his pension went up 3%. It went up actually 2.76. I'm going to round off these numbers. Went up 3%. That's it. But your subsidy does not include the index of inflation. It just stays the same. So you're just going like this. So next year it'll be 500. The other year it'll be 150. And I figured about 8 years it'll be zero subsidies for him. He's maybe feeling it a little more than the other resident, because he gets an extra $420 to be exact from the crane operator's engineer. That's it. That was the only one. That pension went up $50, which was a little over 10%. Nothing else has. He has no other stream of income. Nothing. So I urge you to index this, go step in step with Canada Pension, go to 2.75 and then increase it. And you'll see the numbers will equal out for this. And you might say, well, it adds a lot of costs to the government and we're already paying a lot. I know that a lot of this is federal money. You really want to keep these, my case, my dad's would end up being in long-term care, and that's a lot more expensive than a home here. I don't want him there. He loves that home. So I don't know how this happened or who did it. And sometimes the complexity of the government, when you read through the documents, it's this, it's that. And a lot of people, a lot of workers don't understand. And all you have to do is look at all the wages that have gone up in the last little while. Like most places are going bargaining are now going 30% for 5 years minimum, or they're going on strike. Look at Air Canada; they went up at 50%. They use the U.S. as their model. Everyone, hydro workers, you name it. The government's making more money now, but you're also paying more. But for the old age, it will stay the same. I mean, you can't. I don't want to use the word subsidy anymore for these homes, because it's a dirty word. It feels like their welfare, things like that. In my case, he could eat the, well, it was actually $370 you went up. I should have rounded off to $400. He'll have zero money, like I said in the other video, and so I can't afford $1,000 a month to subsidize him if it came down to that. And I know most of those residents, if you started doing that, they cannot afford. A lot of their family members are working class people, and working class people are living hand to mouth now. Don't kid yourself. So with that, I respectfully ask, lock it in with Canada Pension Plan. Show me the numbers, like that physically say that it's being done. I think that should be open. Have a contract with these people. They go into these homes that there's a contract that they can't raise their rates. Most rent increase are 3%, and you can't raise rents in the first year, and you can't do more than one. Basic things like that. They do need some legal protection because they have zero. They can get a knock on the door. Oh, by the way, your rent's up for $1,000 a month. That's saying. My dad's case, it went up over 20%. That's a lot, 20%. And then use the numbers. Well, we didn't check before. We were not informed in writing that we had to send in documents from Service Canada or anything. We have zero in writing. Like, this is it. This is about zero. So I asked for that. The next big thing it was kind of heartbreaking. I say that home, like I said, it is isolated. It's a godforsaken place. I travel from Carbonaire to there, and some days, I mean, thank God you fixed the highway. It was so dangerous going across there in the Barrens. It's brutal. I try to get there a couple times a week. I'm traveling back and forth. I am beat. I'm getting to the age now. I do not enjoy going out on that highway. Dark, rain, slick, mooses popping out of the woods. So I use that excuse. It's hard. I'd rather him around the corner here, lanes up the road. It's a block and a half, but I know that would probably kill him. So they do need those outings. The first thing he said to me yesterday, "Where have you been?" I've been barred up here for over a week because he's not going out on the activities. I did have a response saying he didn't feel up to it or whatever. No, it's a lot of work for the staff. Like, I don't expect him to take him in his car. And, I mean, legally, if something happened and he's a resident and worker, they don't have commercial insurance. And even the van that they take, it's not handicap. It's just put a stool there and they step on and they go in. They do need pure handicap there. You can drive a wheelchair up there. And I asked the guy as to this on this day, December 16th, they're going to Swiss Chalet. My dad won't be going. I asked how come they can't take him. They have a school bus, and if you can't walk up that step is, I think, 18 inches off a school bus. It's not no 7 inches, or even, it's an old school bus. So they for their outings and for going back and forth to St. John's for appointment, need a wheelchair accessible bus. And the model should be on any outing, no resident left behind. Any resident that wants to go, he goes. It's that simple. How much would it ask to the government? Not much. You make that bus available once a week or twice a week and do it to the other homes. Ones in St. John's are a lot closer because family members are closer. But out here, all these family members are far away, and it's big distances and things like that. So not only that, it is covered in the home. That's part of the care. And in this day and age, not to have wheelchair accessibility is beyond, it's unspeakable. It's not even, it shouldn't even be a word that we use today. It's, yes, of course, especially there. So there are other residents there that wanted to go, but they can't go because there's no wheelchair accessible. And there's not enough room for the staff. And I ask you, let's get creative. They don't need their own bus. I know that you have some and you can share. It's not going to cost a lot. My response: it was hard to put this in writing, and you go there and it becomes sterile. Oh, okay. But if you see it, if you listen to it in the context that it's at, and hear these numbers, and then that there is obviously a clerical error in setting this up, because even hydro, 10%, you knew that this had to be indexed with Canada Pension Plan. So just get the pen, knock on Mr. Fleury's door, let's go, and come up with a creative solution for the bus. They can't be excluded like this. And I thank you for listening to this video. I hope it's my last video, because these are really just two issues that I think are very minor to resolve. And I don't think I have to go on a big campaign. I'm like anybody else. I'm trying to save another 7 months. I got my 65, but I'm not retiring. So thank you. Bye.